Something I found rather interesting as a precondition, a list of preconditions that Nicola Sturgeon has set out for what it would take for her party to back Labour, was released today. And I thought, let's have a look at that. She's made it clear that Labour would need to back the principle of a second independence referendum, because that's what any wannabe government needs. Some support that may well leave them at the first opportunity. She also says she wants to seek greater powers for the Scottish Parliament and an end to austerity. Now, it should be noted, John McDonnell's proposals cost about $400 billion, which would cost a lot. In case it wasn't obvious enough, many think tanks have outright said it would take decades. In fact, on top of that, our current workforce doesn't even make that, in the sense of productivity and what we get from what they make. So austerity will end for a short while before it has to come back because of McDonnell's absolute wanton reckless spending proposals. Some of which I kind of support, by the way. Renationalising certain services, yeah, I agree. However, to do so and maintain the standards that you want to maintain, which are EU standards, by staying in the EU, are nigh on impossible and would require taxing people beyond belief. You claim to be full of many, not the few, Labour, yet your proposal would effectively cause the need for a rise in tax on the lowest earners, therefore rendering the entire point of helping the many utterly redundant. Nicola Sturgeon has said that the SNP will not form a coalition with Labour if there is a hung parliament, instead saying that her party would be potentially willing to back a minority Labour government on an issue-by-issue basis. At the last general election, the SNP won 35 seats, making it the third largest party in the House of Commons. It would have been the Liberal Democrats, but they were down to like 7 at the time. Were they even a party at that point? No. Nicola Sturgeon has warned, again, many times in fact, she has said that other parties need not bother picking up the phone to her unless they are willing to support her party's right to hold an independence referendum next year, which would be a direct slap in the face for the once-in-a-lifetime generation whatever referendum they had in 2014. Granted, it was on a precondition that we stayed in the EU, but the rest of the UK disagreed with that. Hell, some Scottish people did too, no less. They disagreed. I was watching an interesting interview with Noel Gallagher, and he said, it doesn't matter that we would have another referendum now and we might vote Remain, because it would be an absolute insult to democracy not to honour the first one. You can keep doing it again and again and again until you get the result you want, but if you don't obey the result of the first one, you are not the people that should be preaching democracy around the world. Interesting statement, really. But then again, she's only a part of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon that is, so her interests are not really into the whole United Kingdom, instead wanting and desiring to rule Scotland with a rather reckless economic policy. Boris Johnson said during a visit to Scotland that he would fight to keep the fantastic United Kingdom together and prevent another referendum next year. This is because Jeremy Corbyn has warmed to the idea of another referendum in Scotland if it gets him in power even temporarily. The Liberal Democrats are also firmly opposed to another independence referendum, but for them it's kind of ironic that they would want to block something that could be democratic. While Labour's Jeremy Corbyn said it is neither desirable or necessary, and has indicated he would support another one in formative years of a Labour government, meaning he might, but it's more than likely he won't. While speaking to Laura Kuennersberg, a BBC reporter, she said that the SNP hold the balance of power after the election would put Scotland in an incredibly influential position. Press X to doubt everyone, with her stressing that she would never put Boris in power, and claimed that people had good reason to be concerned about the prospect of a Mr. Corbyn becoming Prime Minister. Which is right, his economic policy is absolutely insanity. Further insisting it would be better to have SNP MPs in there making sure the right issues are progressed and the right values upheld. So just the ones that focus predominantly and entirely on Scotland. Remember, You are a nationalist party sat at the table of a unionist parliament. Therefore, when it comes to having a leg to stand on for the issues that all need addressing, you have none, because your only issue is the one that benefits you the most. Say hypothetically you guys vote to leave, by the way, in another referendum. I can't wait for you to try and negotiate a good deal with us. Because when it comes to whatever time we have with you negotiating, when it comes to the extension, you are most certainly not going to get one.